I've finally settled on a optic for the Tavor. This is a Vortex Razor Gen 2, so this is the 1:6 version with the JBM reticle in there. This is an MOA scope, and it's the nicest optic I've ever had on here. It's definitely the sort of thing that I've been looking for a long time. The only thing that's left for this is I need a throw lever for it. This scope covers every base that I could want to cover with this gun. The 6 power is a solid magnification. It really lets you reach out. Whereas you can also have something like 3 or 4 that's more like an ACOG, or a 1 power that's more like a red dot. And when they say daylight bright for the illumination on this, they mean daylight bright. So this scope has capped turrets, but underneath you have a quick adjustment. I can adjust on the range and adjust very quickly for different elevations, but it means when I'm putting it away, I can cap the turrets so they're not going to roll or zip on anything when I'm putting it in and out of a bag or moving around with slings or anything else like that. I've got this on an ADM quick detach mount. It's a 2-inch offset. I've also got Troy sights on here. Obviously I can't use the Troy sights with the scope, although I do notice that the rear cap can flip open quite easily. And when it's in storage, I usually leave the Troy sight up just to prevent that from happening. The illumination controls on this are particularly well done. You have every second click is off, which is something that I've always liked, but you've also got the ability to lock the entire turret by clicking it in. And this is a really heavy, stiff turret, but it's also textured enough that you can get a grip on it no matter what. So I really like being able to put it in the off position and then lock it off when it goes into storage. In the same way, if I know that it's going to be on for a while, I can lock it on and keep it that way. A lot of illuminated scopes run into a problem when it comes to the brightness of that little center dot. Leupold has their fire dot. Vortex has done really, really well with this. It literally has a stage 11, and in bright sunlight on snow, I can still get the red glow in the center of it to come through okay. I'd initially told myself that I was going to do all mil scopes from now on, that everything was going to be in metric and shooting meters and all that. But this is only available in MOA, and now that I've got it, I've found sighting this scope in was the fastest I've ever sighted in a scope. And partially that's because the clicks are good and solid and easy to count, and it makes sense. MOA is easy to do. I mean, around here, I don't know anywhere to get metric targets, which has been a problem in the past. But I can find lots of 1-inch grid targets, and I can pace off 100 yards without too much difficulty. So there are pretty much only 2 things left that I would change on this gun. I would love to have a quick throw lever for this scope in the same way that I used on the Viper 1-4 or on my PST 2.5-10. Being able to slap those and move them into position is really handy. Unfortunately, the Razor, because it's a larger setup and a totally different scope, requires a proprietary throw lever, so I've got one of those in the mail. And then the only other thing I'd probably change is the Enforce light. Although it's done really, really well for me, I think it's more at home on the VZ58. I think that the Tavor really needs something with a pressure grip, and that these just don't do that. Which isn't a failing of the Enforce light, that's just the way the Enforce light is meant to be used. There's no rail spot for me to do that here, unless I want to switch my charging handle. Unless I wanted to switch my charging handle over. This scope is amazingly bright in all kinds of low light. I mean, it really is just the sharpest thing to look through.